The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, to my left, we have a man that really needs no introduction, for he is known the world over. It's the one, it's the only, it's Pops.
Yeah, guys. Once again, welcome back to True School Sports. Let's get to the nitty gritty and talk some boxing.
Make sure you guys smash that like and subscribe button because we got an interesting topic for you guys in this particular video. Now, it's a well-known fact that the PBC welterweights, the big names, the people that we want to see Terence Crawford fight, they're in no rush to fight him. They're not. Terence Crawford isn't that high on their immediate to-do list. And you know what? That's their prerogative. They can move with their careers however they see fit. But you know what? There are some top-ranked welterweights in the top-ranked stable that maybe don't have the biggest name. Maybe people aren't clamoring to see fight, but would make for good fights at Crawford. And one of those fights that I think is very realistic for Terence's next fight is Ray Robinson. No, not that Ray Robinson. The one we're talking about, the one from Philadelphia, not the one from 1960 that was pound for pound the greatest fighter of all time. We're talking about Ray Robinson from Philadelphia, the one that made Josh Kelly look bad. A lot of people thought he beat Josh Kelly. Fought him to a draw. Fought Kavaluskas to a draw. Good fight, solid welterweight, southpaw, tall, beat Terence Crawford in the amateurs. Ideally speaking, this might actually be a decent fight for him, and being that he's a southpaw and he's tall and he's got good boxing skills, maybe even some decent preparation for Errol Spence. But Terence Crawford ain't having it. Ray Robinson only has 2 words to Terence Crawford. He said, "Let's fight." All right, he said, "Let's fight." And Terence described Ray Robinson as, and I quote, "attention-seeking ass female." Okay, so that's what it is. Here's what Robinson said in regards to Terence Crawford and the state of how he's acting right now. He said, I quote, "I'm getting tired of Bud acting like he's the most avoided fighter in the world. I don't know why he said that. He complains all the time about guys not wanting to fight him and this and that. Now we're seeing guys call him out, and that's his response." And then he said, in regards to Kavaluskas, he said the winner of that fight was supposed to get Crawford, and they chose the guy that clearly didn't win that fight. That speaks volumes about his promoter. He's talking about what? When Robinson and Kavaluskas fought. Right. Okay, yeah. So he's really campaigning for this fight. He then went on by saying, I quote, "It's Crawford. He's uncomfortable sitting behind his unbeaten record and top-ranked paychecks without having to fight fierce competition. That's why you don't really see him making an effort to get those big fights he says he really wants. He wants easy fights, and I ain't no easy fight." So there you have it. He wants to settle this like men in the ring. And I think, look, obviously Ray Robinson isn't the most talked about fight with Terence Crawford. We want to see Crawford with Pacquiao. We want to see him with Spence and Porter and Thurman and Garcia and all those amazing fighters. Even a guy like Virgil Ortiz, if Golden Boy we'll put Virgil in there with Terence Crawford. But if Top Rank said, you know what, we're going to make Ray Robinson versus Terence Crawford, I'd have no problem with it. I think it's a great fight, a good matchup. He's a tall, rangy southpaw, good boxing skills. Beat him in the amateurs. Has been giving other guys with names in the division some serious problems in his recent fights, even though he hasn't got a win on paper.
Well, at this point, I think Crawford hasn't been that active like he can be. Nobody wants to come up here and actually get in the ring with him, so to speak, even though Ray Robinson's been lobbying to have this fight with him. So I respect what Ray Robinson is doing. And for me, to be honest, a fighter's got to stay sharp. And he's got to, not just sparring, not just exercising. You got to be active in the fights. And I think that if this fight was to happen, it'd be good for Crawford until another prominent opponent will come on and take up and show up. Because right now, all he's doing, he's on an employment line waiting for whoever's going to come up to fight him. And all this time is going by. It's not good for him.
Yeah, he's got to stay active. And I think, I think Ray Robinson would be a good matchup for him because I'm not sure Ray Robinson's taller than Terence, but I know he's a tall welterweight. I know he's a southpaw. We know Errol Spence is a southpaw. We know Manny Pacquiao is a southpaw, albeit these guys they move differently than Ray Robinson. Right. I think this could be good preparation for him, and Ray Robinson could give him good quality rounds. And look, let's be real. Look, I know Terence Crawford lost to a lot of guys in the amateurs. He lost to Miguel Gonzalez and Mike Garcia and Saddam Ali and as well Ray Robinson. So we know that Terence Crawford wasn't the most accomplished amateur, but he's become one of the most accomplished pros. This fight to me makes a lot of sense. Easy to make. So I'm gonna put it to you like this: if Terence Crawford's next fight isn't against a marquee name, and I hear anybody but Ray Robinson, I'm gonna have to. I think I might have to seriously criticize one of my favorite fighters.
Yeah.
Because this is a fight that makes too much sense not to make.
Yeah, I mean, make it happen. I mean, my thing is, I think all fighters need to stay active. Crawford is not going to get the big fights or the fights that he wants. So the reality is, you got to keep yourself sharp. And one way of doing it is getting in there. And if this guy's calling you out and you truly feel that you can beat him, then go ahead and prove it.
Yeah.
Regardless who was your last fighter you fought or whatever the case may be. Fight him so you can shut him out. But until then, he's going to keep calling you out.
Yeah, and he's a bigger southpaw. So like I said earlier in the video, it's good preparation for Errol Spence, because Errol Spence, should he come out victorious against a Danny Garcia, which many people are expecting him to come out victorious against Danny Garcia, it would be him fighting a big southpaw in preparation for another big southpaw. So it's not the fight I want to see the most, but if he's not fighting any marquee fighters his next fight, then I'm putting pressure on Terence to take this fight.
And the bottom line is that this pandemic has had a domino effect on a lot of fighters as far as pay and money wise. So I know Crawford, you have a legitimate resume, you one of the top dogs, but at the end of the day, if, you got the Lomachenko's taking a pay cut recently with the Teofimo thing, and vice versa, then the reality is everybody's got to take a pay cut, but you're still making money.
Yeah, so there you have it. So let me know in the comments, guys, what do you think about Terence Crawford and him not really giving Ray Robinson from Philadelphia the time of day in regards to a fight like this? Is this a fight that you think Top Rank should look into if they can't secure the big name opponents like your Spencers, Pacquiao's, guys like that? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just Gift from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.